Good day. It's Althea from the Bible in 1 year. Today we spend time in 2 Kings 22 to 23. A tender, responsive heart. Josiah was 8 years old when he became king after his father was assassinated. In verse 2, we read he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, and walked in all the ways like David, and he did not turn aside to the right or to the left. In the 18th year of King Josiah's reign, he had a zest to repair and refurbish the temple. So he sent the scribe to Hilkiah, the high priest. Hilkiah found the law book of Moses, the law revealed to Moses by God on the mountain. In Deuteronomy 31, we read this law book must be kept beside the Ark of the Covenant in the Holy of Holies. They lost this book because the temple was defiled with all the idol worshipping imposed on Judah by Manasseh, the grandfather of Josiah. After Josiah heard the words of the book, he realized how far Judah drifted away from God. He then instructs Hilkiah and some others to go and inquire of the Lord. Huldah the prophetess replies saying, "Catastrophe is coming on Judah because they have abandoned God and followed after idol worshipping." In verse 19 in the Amplified we read, "But King Josiah will be spared from this, because his heart is tender, receptive, penitent, and he humbled himself before the Lord." A tender heart is to have a tender conscience. Conscience gives us the ability to evaluate our own thoughts and desires, to discern what is right and wrong, and to distinguish between what is good and what is best. Receptive is willing to consider or accept new suggestions and ideas. Penitent is feeling or showing sorrow and regret for having done wrong, a repentant heart. To oppose of a tender heart is a hardened heart. It is to develop a seared conscience, meaning the individual is desensitized. Refuse to repent from wrongdoing, the conscience becomes callous, hardened, insensitive, cruel, unmerciful, not open to the word of the Lord, and refusal to change. The worst is you can become so callous that you do not even realize that you are doing wrong. King Josiah, with his tender heart, set out to set things right. In chapter 23, he gathers all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, both small and great, and he read in the hearing all the words of the book. He made a covenant before the Lord to keep the commandments, and all the people entered the covenant. He then cleansed the temple of all the things of idol worshipping, the sexual symbols, and the idol altars. He smashed and burned them. He got rid of the idolatrous priests. He tore down the houses of the male cult prostitutes, the high places of worship, as well as Topeth, where they sacrificed babies to Moloch. The places of worship King Solomon built for his pagan wives, the cultic memorial stone images, the high places Jeroboam built for the false worship of the true God. He basically destroyed everything he found that was not according to the law book. Not fearing any man or religion, he only feared God. He then reinstates the Passover that was neglected for years. In verse 25, Josiah is singled out as the only man that ever turned to God with all his heart, soul, and might. Unfortunately, he was the only one in Judah. Judah participated in the renewal of the covenant, but they were not sincere. Their hearts were callous and desensitized to the word of the Lord. They did not turn to God with their hearts. Therefore, God says in verse 26, "The Lord did not turn from his fierceness of his great wrath, which will kindled against Judah." Soon they will be taken into exile. Ezekiel 36 verse 26 says, Moreover, I will give you a new heart, and put a new spirit within you, and I will remove the heart of stone, and give you a heart of flesh. Like Josiah, choose to humble yourself before the Lord. Ask Him to remove the heart of stone, the callous conscience. Ask Him to replace it with a tender heart, so that you may hear and listen to the word of the Lord, to realize what is not according to His precepts and His commandments. May you become like Josiah, who reverently fear God and not man. May it be more important to you to hear and practice the will of God, and may the will of God direct you. May you be blessed. Goodbye.